What's the deal with face mists? Are they the same as toner? Depends on the ingredients. A lot of the time they are. Yep. Thanks, Beauty and the Boy. MSN, I think I looked that up once and I can't remember what I found though, but I will definitely consider that again. Drunk Elephant, I'm gonna do a full review on Drunk Elephant. That's one of the next things on my like big review posts. So my schedule at the moment, I'm trying to do like one review and one sort of science-based non-review post, and alternate those. Yeah, so it's in the mix for the next 3-ish review posts. Paula's Choice 1% retinol. Yeah, I went way too fast with that. Yeah, and I ended up with really, really red, irritated nose area. So yeah, be really gentle. Basically treat it like tretinoin when you're introducing it. Matrixyl, yeah, so I did a post on it at some point. Or it was like buried in a review, but I can't entirely remember what I thought. Ingrown hairs on back, same as ingrown hairs anywhere else. Exfoliation. Because your back skin is a bit thicker and a bit more resilient than your face skin, you can probably go a bit harder. So things like body brushes, body sponges, and yeah, exfoliants. So salicylic acid, I know Paula's Choice has a spray that I've been using, and you can sort of get it on your back and then slap it around a bit. I reckon if you just put it on your hand and slapped it around, it's probably works quite well as well. Overdone glycolic acid on your forehead. Is there anything in particular I'd recommend to restore balance? Don't use really strong actives, so don't use like anything that normally would make your skin tingle or burn. So things like AHAs, salicylic acid, vitamin A, vitamin C. Just avoid all of those and use really moisturizing products. So when my skin is really grumpy, I tend to use oils, niacinamide. I've been using Stratia's liquid gold, but I found that when my skin is super, super irritated, it actually stings it a bit, and I think it's just because it's so watery. Yeah, water-based things tend to sting my skin quite a lot if it's like really, really sensitized. So I tend to stick to oils and balms for that. Your skin sometimes gets pimple-like red bumps, but they're usually flat and never have pus. What is this? Unfortunately, I'm not a dermatologist. I can't diagnose you, but I would recommend seeing a dermatologist. It could be a lot of different things. Emotional rut. Okay, I think if you're in an emotional rut about your skincare, I don't know, I think sometimes, I don't think you really need to be into skincare to, yeah, if you do want to get back into skincare, I think, that's a really good question. I'm trying to think of things to get out of a skincare rut. I mean, obviously you don't want to just buy all the new products. That's really bad both for your money and probably not great for getting out of a rut either. Maybe just take a break. Maybe look at something else. If you still want to stay in skincare, maybe, thanks Devanshi, maybe look at makeup, change your hair. Yeah, or even like try to use up your products. So I used to do a lot of project pans when I first started getting into skincare, and I tried to just use up things. And then I tried to combine new things. And when I went back through my stash, I'd find things that I really liked that I haven't seen for a while. And that used to help me get back into it as well. But I don't think you really should be pressured to get back into skincare if you're not feeling it. If it doesn't make you happy, there's not much of a point, I think. Hey Leroy, favorite hydrating facial mask? I don't really have one. I think probably sleeping masks. So when my skin's really dehydrated, I'm really basic. I put Aquaphor on top of my skincare. I've also been using the Laneige sleeping mask and the Glow Recipe watermelon sleeping mask, and they work really well as well. But I think I'm pretty lazy with masks. So yeah, I tend not to really use the wash-off ones that much. Yeah. There used to be a really good one, but I think it's been discontinued from Uriage. It was like this blue, I think it was from the Aqua Persist line, and I really liked it. It was like you only needed to put it on for 10 minutes. It felt like a gel moisturizer, and that was really good, but I think they discontinued it, unfortunately. A good duration for keeping skincare products like serums and acne medication before washing it off in the morning and evening. I'm not entirely sure what the evidence is on that, but for most products, the absorption curve tends to be like this. So there's like a little lag time before it starts absorbing. It hits a peak and then it tails off. Yeah, I think for most topical products, like the peak is like not any more than like 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, but I don't have the exact statistics on that. I'm sure it depends on what the ingredient is and what the formulation is. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it does usually, depending on the product, of course, it happens in the first like little bit. So when I was looking up how to add tretinoin into my routine, there was a study where I think they found pretty good results, even washing it off after half an hour, compared to leaving it on the whole time. Yeah, or at least for acne. Cleansing oil and hot cleansing method, is it ideal? I think hot cloths, they can, if your skin is sensitive, they can dry it out, they can make it dehydrated, but again, depends on your skin. Yeah, try it. If your skin gets dry, then maybe switch to cold, maybe get rid of the cloth. Yeah. Would I recommend adding carrier oil to already oily skin? What sort of carrier oil? I personally find that my skin is already quite oily, and I use oils in the evening, so things like rosehip oil, and my skin really enjoys that. I don't use it during the day because then I just look like I'm melting. Skincare for eczema. Again, I don't know that much about eczema. Yeah, sorry. But I believe some of the things that I've seen are ceramides. Although I think it depends on the type of ceramide as well, and the balance of ceramides with other skin components. I've also even seen like baking soda baths for eczema, and also bleach baths. So I think eczema, it's very different from normal skincare. So I don't really want to give you any recommendations right now without looking it up. Oh yeah, so there is a brand which my friend who does have eczema has recommended, which is Mugu. And that tends to be, I think for people with eczema, that's really popular in Australia. Yeah, no science behind that, just anecdote. Recommendations for dark circles and eye bags. I think the common advice for that is check for allergies, sleep more, maybe drink more water and see if that helps. In terms of products, I think they tend to talk about thickening the skin under your eyes. I feel like I've read something recently about dark circles and I just can't remember what they said. Sorry. Rosacea. I have a blog post on rosacea where I interviewed a dermatologist called Estee. Or Estee Williams, I think, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, that's on my blog, and she's got lots of tips. So work out what your triggers are, things like hot water, sunlight, chilly foods, I think was one of them. You definitely want to wear a sunscreen as well. Reducing pigmentation. Yeah, so I've got the pigmentation video, so maybe have a look at that one. Is retinol worth it, or am I just wasting time? Should I switch to tretinoin? I think there are a couple of studies on retinol, but there are tons of studies on tretinoin. So I don't think you are wasting your time, but if you want something that's more guaranteed, then tretinoin is a good option. I don't know about where you are. In Australia, because we have a nice public Medicare system, which pays for a lot of prescription medications, it's not that expensive. So the tube I have, I think it was about 25 or $30 for a 30 ml tube, which is I think possibly cheaper than most retinol. Yeah, so depending on where you are, I think it might even be like, I think it's a better option for me, at least in Australia. Smile lines that have gone red from overexfoliating. Avoid actives, oils, niacinamide if your skin can handle it. Yeah. What do I think of the no-poo co-washing movement? I think for some people's hair it works really well. I think they do tend to talk up a lot of like the whole natural, toxic, that sort of not very honest, not very scientific. Oh, your 0.025% was $100. Oh no, that's so expensive. Where are you? Was that Australia? I got mine as a generic tube from Chemist Warehouse, and it was, yeah, it was $30. So if you're in Australia, yeah, Chemist Warehouse is where it's at. So for no-poo, I think a lot of it is based on that, and I think if you're doing it because of that, then it's probably not a great option. But yeah, I think it depends on your hair type, on your skin type, so how much oil you have. Personally, I tried it and it was terrible. I looked really gross and matted, and everyone says your hair will adjust after a few weeks, and I waited a week and it was disgusting, so I don't want to try that again. Yeah, the red bumps, there's a lot of things it can be. Definitely go see a dermatologist. There's this thing called fungal acne that a lot of people are talking about. From when I've asked dermatologists about it, they say the best thing to do is to go to them and use an antifungal. Like, don't try to deal with it with a skincare routine. Just go straight to proper treatment. Homeopathic skincare. It depends on whether or not it's truly homeopathic. So true homeopathic things are where they dilute it a whole bunch and it's to the point where there's probably like one molecule in it, and that's not going to do anything. So it's based on, I think it's like water memory. So they say that the water has a memory of everything it's touched, which if that was true, that would be really gross because water touches like a lot of poo. But yeah, I think there's a lot of so-called homeopathic things that aren't really homeopathic. So I think there's like quite a few supposedly homeopathic arnica treatments, which actually have an amount of arnica in it that will actually work. So I think it depends on that. I think zinc and selenium, even without the homeopathic thing, they are good for treating, I think selenium works for some types of fungus, and zinc can kill bacteria. I'm not sure if it kills other microorganisms as well, but yeah, those ingredients can definitely work. Eczema and psoriasis, again, I don't know that much about them, unfortunately. Yeah, I mentioned eczema a bit earlier. I'll repost this on my Instagram IGTV channel if I can work out how to use it, and I'll post it on YouTube as well if I can work out how to download it. Yeah. Chemical exfoliation and moisturiser for sensitive combination skin. So chemical exfoliation, if you've downloaded my chemical exfoliation guide, which is free, I think you just do labmuffin.com/exfol or /exfoliate. I think both of them will end up pointing you there. That at the back of that guide, there's a section where I talk about how to start on exfoliation, so recommendations for depending on your skin type, depending on your skin condition, and I think in there's one for sensitive skin. Yeah, so have a look at that. For moisturizers, for sensitive combination skin, again, I generally don't like recommending specific products to people that much because everyone lives in a different place. People have different sensitivities, so I tend to just try to recommend ways of working out what skincare is good for you. So like what ingredients to look for and things like that, rather than a specific product. I do talk about it in my skincare guide, so the Lab Muffin Guide to Basic Skincare. So in that one I talk about like how to pick a cleanser, how to pick a sunscreen, how to pick a moisturizer in like way too much detail. So if you want to find out like all of the stuff about that, you can grab a copy of that. In general, for sensitive combination skin, I would avoid things like fragrances. Sensitive skin tends to be sensitive to fragrances. Combination skin tends to be a bit tricky. My skin is oily combination, so it's like oily here and normal / dry here, depending on what the weather's like. And I usually recommend doing like your moisturizer for normal skin all over, and then, no wait, sorry, stuff that up. Do your moisturizer for the oiliest bits of your skin all over, and then go back and get a heavier moisturizer for the drier bits. So kind of just like, I think there's like a new trend, or so-called trend, that all the beauty brands have been talking about, which is like multi-masking. I think it's their way of trying to sell you more than one mask. But it's like, use different masks for different areas of your skin. So kind of like that, but for moisturizer. But I think it's a bit better for moisturizer because like, use the whole thing in summer, and then as winter comes along, you just add more and more of the thicker moisturizer on your cheeks. And then when it goes back to summer, you just like slow that down. And so overall, it doesn't cost that much more, and it's not that much more effort either. Am I enjoying my purple? I am loving my purple. Am I washing it only in cold water? No. It's winter here, so I cannot. But I have been doing a cold rinse, and that was horrific. I've only washed it once, so I'm trying to wash it as little as possible because it was pretty expensive. And I do really like this color, but I am actually looking forward to having this color fade out because I'm planning to just dye it tons of different colors. Really excited about that. I've wanted to have like pale pastel hair for about 10 years. And I finally found the time and the money and the right hairdresser as well to do it. And I'm so happy I've had it. Yeah, it's so exciting for me. What brand of niacinamide is the best? I don't know. For products that have been really popular, I think the most popular one is, that I can think of off the top of my head, is probably Stratia Liquid Gold. There's also the ordinaries, niacinamide and zinc, but I've also heard from a lot of people that it breaks them out. Yeah. Can you, the royal you, purge from actives like 2% BHA, mild AHAs and vitamin C? BHA and AHAs, yes. So generally how purging works, I've got tons more info on this on my purging versus breakout video. Generally purging happens if your skin cycle is speeding up. So it's basically like just putting your skin into overdrive. Everything works faster, including breaking out. So AHAs and BHA will speed up your skin turnover. Vitamin C does not. So technically vitamin C shouldn't make you purge. However, low pH does help your skin exfoliate. So if your skin wasn't at the right pH before and now you're putting like low pH stuff on it and it's like more in the correct pH, then it could potentially be going faster. Yeah, so potentially just because of the pH, but the ingredient itself, vitamin C itself, shouldn't be causing purging. Hi Hannah. How to get rid of blackheads and whiteheads? Depends on what you've tried. I think exfoliation is one really good way, and depends on how severe it is. So I think exfoliation, hydroxy acids are a really great option. If it's really, really bad and it is stressing you out a lot, maybe see a dermatologist. So so dermatologists now are a little bit more likely to prescribe like a weaker course of Accutane as well for that, if it's really, really distressing. Yeah, but there's lots of options. Don't stress out. Maybe try the hydroxy acids first and see how that goes. Can skin get used to certain products? Can you use the same moisturizer for years and years without changing it? Can skin get used to certain products? I have heard this one. Oh no, I unjoined it and now I've lost all the questions. I'll just scroll up on here. I don't really know. Can your skin get used to it? I think your skin does adjust to moisturizer, but whether or not it stops working, yeah, I don't know. I think if your skin does seem to stop work, like if it does seem to start working on your skin, then yeah, maybe change. But there are lots of people who have been using the same products for years and years, and it seems to still be working for them. So I don't think it's like a universal rule. Your skin does change over time as well. So I think sometimes maybe if a skincare product stops working for you, maybe your skin's changing and not just your skin's getting used to the products. Maybe you're aging, maybe your hormones aren't working exactly the same. Maybe it's just an overall change in climate. Maybe, like, I don't know, your water's changing. Yeah, so I think it's really hard to say. What are the causes and solutions for blind pimples? Pretty much the same as for blackheads and whiteheads, I think. So exfoliation. Oh wait, blind pimples. So the really, really deep ones, like hormonal pimples. I don't know. I wish I knew. I've been trying out lots of different things, and I think the problem with trying to work out what to do is just the fact that when you do get a giant blind pimple, I've got one here at the moment, it's a bit hard to see, is that you can't really try things on it really objectively because you've only got one. You can't really compare it to anything else. I got two once right next to each other, and I got really excited because I thought maybe I could compare things, but I couldn't see a difference. The things I tend to try, which may or may not work, and I can't even tell if it's working for me, is salicylic acid. So I have a 4% BHA treatment from Paula's Choice. I had a 9% one. I don't know where it went. Yeah, so BHA, my reasoning, all of this is like not scientifically verified. It's just like my best guess. I think BHA might be able to penetrate better into the pore than something like AHA. Hydrocolloid bandages. I've heard some people say that using a hydrocolloid bandage will suck it out even if it's a blind pimple. I don't know how much I believe that, but it is something I've tried. Neem oil, I tried that ages ago. It stinks. It smells a bit like fried garlic or onion. What else have I tried? Heat. My sister swears by a rice sock, which is basically just like a wheat bag, but rice. Like she puts the rice in a sock and then microwaves it and puts it on. Some people use cold as well. Yeah. I think if it's like really deep hormonal acne, there are treatments for it. Things like spironolactone. I haven't gotten to the point where I want to try that yet. But yeah, blind pimples, it's a bit of a mystery to me. Something that will definitely work for a blind pimple if it's like a really important event the next day, like if you're getting married the next day and you have a giant, like massive pimple on your face, you can get a steroid injection from the dermatologist, and that apparently makes it shrink like immediately. Lines on the neck. So generally it's like aging things, so things like sunscreen, tretinoin. Yeah, those are probably the main things. One thing is when you're aging, it's not just the skin. So those things will treat the skin, but if you want to treat the deeper things, so things like sagging, unfortunately that's not just the skin, that's the muscle and the bone as well. That also changes as you grow older. So those things can't be treated with tretinoin or sunscreen. Yeah. I think there's been some research on things like facial exercises. So if you exercise it, then the muscles don't wear down as quickly, or they stay plumped up for longer. I believe that's also how the microcurrent devices are meant to work. But I think the only really guaranteed thing is like facelifts and things like that, fillers. Can you add ascorbic acid powder to your moisturizer? Do you have to dilute first, or can you add it directly to the moisturizer? I think it depends on the moisturizer. You can, I personally add it directly because I'm lazy. And there is a study where they put powdered vitamin C on the skin, and it absorbed and worked. So I don't think you really need to. The risk you run though is if you have like a little grain of vitamin C sitting on your skin, and then the way it dissolves is it's probably dissolving through like transepidermal water loss. So when your water evaporates from your skin and starts dissolving the little vitamin C crystal, it's gonna like basically form a hot spot. and if you have a hot spot and vitamin C dissolves, the pH is actually pretty high. Pretty low. Lower than the 3-ish that most vitamin C serums are at. So you might get like a little chemical burn, and it might sting. It might not be great for your skin either. If you have a little chemical burn, it could even cause pigmentation. So I think that's the risk you run. For most people, it's probably fine. So there are lots of products that are just powdered vitamin C in a base. So things like, what's that brand? The brand with all the white packaging. Indeed Labs. They have, I think it's called like vitamin C24 or something. That's basically just powdered little bits of vitamin C in a silicone base. And most people are fine with that. So yeah, I think it depends on how much water you have in your moisturizer, how sensitive your skin is, how big the crystals of your vitamin C are, and how easily they dissolve. So there is a slight risk, but yeah. Can you introduce different by diluting it with moisturizer? Yes. Yes, you can. What are my thoughts on the Foreo Luna? I have a Luna Play Plus. I personally don't really enjoy using exfoliation tools. I don't know why. I think they just don't feel as effective on my skin as a peeling gel. I love peeling gels. That's probably mostly it. Yeah, that's my main thoughts. I think I have seen a lot of the claims of the Foreo Luna, so things like sending your skincare deeper into the skin and stuff like that. I'm not sure how much I believe that. Yeah. Can you put serum under retinol? Yes, you can. So you can, yeah, you can, putting the serum under the retinol will dilute it. It'll probably make it less irritating. It could potentially make it a little bit less effective, but I don't think it makes a massive difference. Yeah, so if you're finding that the retinol is too irritating, I think putting serum under it is a good idea, or moisturizer under it as well. How to minimize losing products on the pillow? Probably just sleep on your back. Yeah, I don't know how else you could minimize it, really. Sorry. Is it normal for your skin to get red and itchy when using Epiduo? I think it is. It's not. Oh, so Epiduo, from memory, it's like benzoyl peroxide and adapalene. It's possible that you have an allergy. Definitely check if you have an allergy. Benzoyl peroxide allergies do happen, and red and itchiness is a thing, but it's also quite irritating, so it could also be irritation, so definitely check on that. Have I tried Lumigan off-label to try to grow brows and lashes? Yes, I have. I tried Keraprost, which back in the day it was like the most popular thing to do. You'd order it off a dodgy Indian pharmacy. It was like all-day chemists. There were all these warnings about how you had to not use your credit card. You had to get a special credit card so that they wouldn't steal your information. Yeah, I did try it. It worked really well. It made my lashes really, really long. I believe the main side effect is if it gets into your eyes, it can make your eyes go dark. I don't know if I recommend like using prescription things and ordering things from dodgy pharmacies. It was a long time ago. I was very young. Yeah, but it is one of the things that works really well. I believe it's one of the few things that has clinical trials on it. So the active ingredient is Matrixyl. What lipstick am I wearing? It's this lipstick I've rediscovered ever since I dyed my hair purple. It's Face of Australia Glossy Lip Crayon in Pilar Mode. Yeah, it's pretty cheap. It's they used to stock it in Priceline. I think they now only stock Face of Australia in Big W or Kmart, one of those places. But yeah, this thing, it's really, really good. It does move around a lot, but it's super moisturizing. Scientific articles about dehydration after using sheet mask for more than 20 minutes. I can't actually remember. I feel like I've looked this up. Yeah. Sorry about that. Can you use oil-based moisturiser under sunscreen? You can. So there is a... Ooh, there's only 9 seconds remaining. I'll come back.